More than half of the traffic flowing across one of the biggest networks on the internet is no longer coming from humans. It's coming from machines. And that one fact could completely change how you build websites from now on. This week, Cloudflare reported its second quarter earnings, and buried inside a very good financial report was a sentence that matters way more than the revenue number. For the first time in human history, more than half the requests on Cloudflare's network came from AI agents, not people, not a click, not a scroll, a machine acting on someone's behalf. And it gets crazier. We're not just talking about AI agents browsing websites. We're moving toward a world where AI agents pay other AI agents automatically with no human clicking confirm. Stick with me, because that part is coming, and it's the wildest piece of this whole story. But first, the numbers, quickly, because they prove this isn't hype. Revenue hit $696 million, up 36% year over year. The stock jumped 17% in a day. Cloudflare raised its full-year guidance to nearly $2.9 billion. Margins improved for the first time in 8 quarters. Growth and profitability moving up together. That combination usually means a company is riding a real structural shift, not a temporary spike. So what does this actually mean for you if you build websites or write code for a living? This is the part most people skip past, so let's not skip it. Your website is no longer being read only by humans. It's being read by AI agents that need to extract information fast, and if they can't, they move on to a competitor who made their site easier to parse. That means clean semantic HTML matters again. Structured data, using proper schema markup, matters again. Fast server response times matter more than ever because agents don't wait around the way humans sometimes do. And your content needs to answer the actual question directly, near the top, instead of burying the answer 3 paragraphs down under a story about the founder's childhood. Cloudflare even called this out directly. They said demand is rising specifically for something called AI crawl control, tools that let a website decide whether AI agents can read its content and under what terms. Some publishers are blocking crawlers outright. Others are negotiating to get paid every time an agent pulls their content. The point is, nobody gets to be passive about this anymore. If you own a website, you now have to decide, on purpose, how machines are allowed to interact with it. Cloudflare even called this out directly. They said demand is rising specifically for something called AI crawl control, tools that let a website decide whether AI agents can read its content and under what terms. Some publishers are blocking crawlers outright. Others are negotiating to get paid every time an agent pulls their content. The point is, nobody gets to be passive about this anymore. If you own a website, you now have to decide, on purpose, how machines are allowed to interact with it. Here's what this actually looks like in practice, because it's easy to nod along with the concept and still not picture it. Imagine someone asks an AI assistant to find them the cheapest flight to Tokyo next month. That assistant doesn't open a browser tab the way you would. It sends out an agent that quietly visits a dozen airline and travel sites in seconds, checking prices, checking baggage rules, checking cancellation policies, all in the background. The person never sees any of those visits. They just see one clean answer land in their chat window. But on the server side, that one human request just turned into dozens of machine requests, hitting your site, reading your pages, and deciding, based on how clean and fast your content is, whether to trust it or skip it. Multiply that by millions of people asking assistants questions every single day, and you start to understand why more than half the traffic on a major network is now non-human. There's also a shift happening in where code actually runs. Cloudflare added nearly 2 million new developers in this single quarter, more than they added in all of last year combined. Why? Because their edge platform, called Workers, has become one of the best places to build and run AI agents. It's lightweight, it scales automatically, and it runs close to the user instead of on one server far away. If your development experience is mostly traditional servers, this is worth exploring now, while it's still early, instead of later, once everyone else already knows it. Now, back to the part I promised. Agents paying agents. Cloudflare is rolling out programmable stablecoin wallets built on a new protocol called X4.2 in partnership with Coinbase. The idea is that an AI agent booking your flight can directly pay another AI agent representing the airline, instantly in stablecoins, with no credit card form and no human approving the transaction. Picture an agent negotiating your hotel stay, comparing 5 properties, and completing the payment, all before you've even finished making coffee. That infrastructure isn't a concept slide in a pitch deck. It's being built right now, and almost no developers have touched it yet, which is exactly why it's worth paying attention to. This is why this moment feels bigger than just one earnings report. The internet has gone through a few shifts like this before. Desktop to mobile, static pages to social feeds. Each time, most people kept building for the old paradigm, right up until it stopped working, and a smaller group noticed the shift early and quietly built a huge advantage while nobody else was paying attention. The developers who learned mobile development before the App Store turned 1-year-old weren't smarter than everyone else. They were just early, and being early gave them a decade-long head start that skill alone couldn't have bought later. This agentic shift has the same shape. It's not fully mainstream yet, which means the window to get ahead of it is still open, but probably not for long. So here's what to actually do with this. If you build websites, start thinking about how AI agents will read and interact with your pages, not only how humans will. If you write code, spend some time this month experimenting with edge functions, because that's where agent workloads are heading. And keep an eye on this agent-to-agent payment layer, because being early to something genuinely new, before it's mainstream, is one of the highest leverage moves you can make in tech. The web isn't just for humans anymore. If this gave you a clearer picture of where the internet is actually heading, stick around, because we're going to keep breaking these shifts down before they become common knowledge.